Welcome everybody to our oily community call, and tonight we are going to be talking about what oils have been successful for other moms and adults for ADD, ADHD, and so on. So this is a really very common actually issue that seems to be happening more and more, even children that are highly sensitive. So we found that essential oils can be brilliant as a tool to use. And sometimes you've got to just play around with some different protocols, different oils, because it seems every child is different, of course. We all have different chemistry, and so do the kids. So let's look at some of the things that have worked for others, and maybe a little bit of sharing first. Anne-Marie, do you have any little suggestions for what you've experienced?
Well, there's a recipe for Peaceful Child. It's called Peaceful Child. And I think I got that from you many years ago. And I've shared that a few times, and the children who've used it, or the parents who've used it on their children, find that a wonderful blend. But also the adaptive is a great one. Since the adaptives come out, it's sort of simplified a lot of the recommendations and that's very helpful as well. So that's really all I've got to add, but I'm sure there's a lot of others there.
Yes, lovely. Thank you. How about you, Ali?
Robin, no, and that topic I don't really have experience, but I relate myself with the adaptive in case a little bit of anxiety, which helped me a lot. That's what I can say.
I'm in a meeting.
Yes, because it was specially designed for mental wellness, the adaptive blend, and a lot of research did go into creating that range, the adaptive blend and the adaptive soft gels, which are a little bit different to the oils. And we actually don't have those in Australia as yet. How about you, Claire? What have you found has worked? Because you've tried many different combinations over the years, haven't you?
Yeah. So a bit of background. I was using the essential oils on my son, and I was using the Peaceful Child blend for many years. And then it ceased to work. I don't know. So then for one of the conventions, they brought out the one blend, which Robin brought me a bottle of it, which is basically ylang ylang, frankincense, vetiver, Douglas fir, cardamom, melissa, in a specific measures, of course. And I use this quite a lot with my kids. I just make a big, and I use it on myself as well. And so both my kids have to take medication as well, because when my son was diagnosed, he was at a stage where he couldn't read, he couldn't write, he couldn't focus. And after, I was very against the oils, very against the medication. But my friend basically said, you're using the oil, it's having a good effect, but basically he is spending his days at school sitting on his hands, trying to behave himself, and he's not actually learning anything. And he was very far behind. We'd already kept him back a year. So I decided to go with the essential oils and the medication, and we've seen huge improvements in him. Because he's so thin, he cannot have, we can't increase the dose of his medication because the medication has some side effects where they don't eat. So what I have recently started doing, as well as diffusing the one blend in the house, I've also started, because I was reading about some therapy where they do sort of like electronic pulses into the side of their heads here. So I decided, instead of doing that I've been putting the one blend just on the tips of my fingers and massaging them on this pressure point and sort of applying a little bit of pressure. And that seems to help my son an awful lot. But I also use I diffuse lemon. I use the frankincense. At evening sometimes I just do vetiver, lavender, Siberian fir, wild orange, copaiba, not all together,
Right.
but because I find that, you know, you can have a strategy for kids who have got ADHD, inattentive, which my daughter has and I have, or combined, which my son has, or for highly sensitive people. But because our brains are constantly flipping and changing, and you know, 1 minute you're interested in one thing, the next minute your focus flips, I find I can't just use one method.
Sure.
I have to use various different methods, because also my kids don't sleep.
Okay. So you change
So
things around. Yes.
I have to change, I
Yes.
have to change things around. But I was looking at Peaceful Child blend the other day when I made up, I just make a vat of it.
Okay.
Which I did with the one blend, but I
Right.
decided the other day, when this runs out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back and try the Peaceful Child blend. But also, Robin, I don't know if you remember, we touched on magnolia
Mm-hmm.
on the
Yes.
brainstem. So I have also tried magnolia, but as I've said, it just depends, because it is like I have a bag of tricks, 2 bags of tricks for each child, and I just test different things all the time and just see which one works for a set amount, and then
Yes. Okay. Well, thanks, Clay, because you've had a lot of experience as a mum dealing with these exact issues. So it's really great to hear how you've gotten on. I did go on to one of the leaders' Facebook sites, where they suggest a whole lot of things from different mums. Well, have suggestions from different mums and what they've used. And I've also been listening to Danielle. Now, she's a psychologist, and she's the one, you may have seen those handouts, essential oils for the brain. And she's written them for the adults, and she's written them for children. So she has a lot of knowledge. So she's someone also maybe to look up online. She has a couple of different YouTube videos, and she has a website, and we can post some things. But what she suggested always is to have a look at maybe having a little spritzer on hand, because she says inhalation is crucial because she gives this example in this little podcast, and I will put it on our Facebook, how that, you know, when people take drugs like cocaine, that it goes directly into the brain, and essential oils, of course, will work exactly the same way. And so, but we're having a healthy response, right, with the essential oils. So she says, if you're out and about, you're a mom, you've got kids that are going crazy, maybe in the car or at the shopping center, keep a little spritzer in your bag and just spritz it around them, because they're going to inhale that, you know, and just spray it around them, and have that. It'll just settle things down until you're at home and you can put your diffuser on. So that was a good suggestion, because sometimes we don't always think of things like that. But she gives her favorite oils for ADHD and those sort of issues, and she says obviously frankincense. So she looks at oils that tree oils are very grounding, and we know balance is an incredible oil, but sometimes balance needs a little bit of extra. So you could make a blend with vetiver, and balance and cedarwood. I found that's been really good as a combination for mums, especially. And you can either add lavender or leave lavender out, because often these children respond in the totally opposite way with lavender. They actually, lavender will sort of make them more sort of alert and hypo, and it has that ability. So yeah, to sort of affect the brain in these kids and adults in a very different way. So there's some suggestions instead of lavender. Bergamot mint is excellent too instead of lavender, because it has almost the same chemistry makeup as lavender. So you could replace with bergamot mint, you could replace it with petitgrain. Petitgrain is excellent also. Now, when I've got a couple of little handouts here of all the suggestions from all these moms of what has worked for them, and citrus oils keep coming up. Like green mandarin, wild orange, to add the citrus in as well. It seems to be a really common in most of these, suggestions and protocols. I know my little granddaughter, who's highly sensitive, loved the wild orange to go to sleep with. She loved it in her diffuser. She didn't like lavender. It actually created both of the girls, to be really hypo. So the wild orange was excellent in the diffuser. It made her feel safe and secure, and so she could be just safe going to sleep. So that wild orange. But I'll read a few out here that the mums have. One of the things, of course, is suggested for just look at the sugar intake of the children, stay away from a lot of sugar. I know that the children's supplements, and for adults, is the omegas. Very important that the children have omegas. So just think about that when you're looking at giving your children supplements. So doTERRA have a really good omega for children as well as adults. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of other things here, but so this lady says, we took away all corn syrup and food coloring, and it changed completely her son. He was preschool with ADHD, vitiver on feet and roof of the mouth. Now, this would be more for older, I would think, older children, teenagers or adults. It's bitter, so follow up with something sweet. I use vitiver for my ADHD, and I can physically feel my brain calming down. So this other lady says vitiver, balance, and lemongrass or bergamot. One of the oils that keeps being suggested by Daniel is the bergamot, because bergamot has very high chemistry that makes it a super antidepressant, has a really high antidepressant property with the chemistry makeup it has. So bergamot is really excellent to use. Just got to keep in mind with citrus not to go out into the sun, of course, because these are photosensitive. Yeah, so that's that lady. This one is, I have ADHD, and vitiver and cedarwood combined do amazing things for me. Energizing for adults, but calming for children. Vitiver and cedarwood and balance. Petitgrain, cedarwood and lime is from another lady. Awesome, relaxing. It knocks me out. Peace and balance are great together. Copaiba, frankincense, adaptive, and Roman chamomile. And this one says, think I've had great testimonials from elementary school age children by using the kids Thinker blend. Avoid anything like lavender and chamomile, is from this mom. Anything typically calming. So she says peppermint usually works for her son. I have a child that is energized from lavender. I actually find that the oils are aimed for motivation and energy help to calm her. So we use bergamot, Clearfy, that's clear air, it would be in China. Tangerine, eucalyptus, star aniseed, and the kids' kid oils to help with schooling. Adaptive vetiver or peace is another suggestion. Cedarwood is my top favorite oil for sleep. Also seen a difference using adaptive with citrus oils. I love using citrus bliss or wild orange. I have found that even when the lavender doesn't do anything by itself, it's sometimes okay as a night blend when I add citrus. Both of my kids do well with different things. Frankincense and Roman chamomile work well, great for my kids. You can't handle the lavender, get the frankincense and Roman chamomile. Go with the opposite of what you think. So what calms us may energize them, and vice versa. Try wild orange from another mum. Petitgrain is a great alternative to lavender, and I like it with frankincense on the back of his neck. So that was another suggestion. Serenity, balance, and vetiver. Balance and wild orange mix works great for this mum. Vetiver and adaptive. So it seems like the same oils are coming up. We apply DDR Prime topically on her spine at night. So DDR Prime in the oil blend has been excellent for speech delayed children. So if you have a child who is struggling to talk at the pace of the average child and seems to be a little bit slow in speaking and learning to speak, the DDR, I've seen that over and over again in testimonials for speech delayed children, but down the spine, a couple of drops with some fractionated coconut oil down the spine at night, and if you can do it also in the morning before school. So that seems to be a really good one. Since Adaptive came out, we use one capsule in the morning and a copaiba soft gel in the evening. This is, her daughter was on the Bifenton drug, Bifenton, don't know how to say that. We used the soft gels, but she was in grade 6 and 7 at the time. And she says that they place it on the back of her neck and on her temples. And since the Adaptive, we've switched and use one capsule in the morning and copaiba soft gel in the evening. We apply DDR Prime topically on her spine at night. And it's amazing that she has now gone off all her pharmaceutical drugs. So cedarwood, black spruce, wild orange has been suggested, in Siberian fir, balanced blend, and patchouli from this mum. This lady, this is an adult. I use focus blend, also diffuse Douglas fir and lemon for additional focus. So we know lemon is excellent for focus. I will put these on the Facebook group or email these notes to you, Claire. I know it's hard to keep up. Wild orange and balance, PB assist. Frankincense on the tips of the big toes 3 times daily is another mum for a little one. I have testimonials from people on our team having their child drink 1 to 2 drops of copaiba every evening and seeing unbelievable changes. Also would recommend the Melissa Challenge, which is more for an adult. This mum says turmeric, diffuse and take the capsules. Another mum, cedarwood, vetiver, wild orange applied topically, bottom of the feet in the diffuser. Someone else suggests some Mido 2 Max for adults. And for ADHD, if your little one can take a capsule. Vetiver, balance, and in tune. And so that keeps coming up. Vetiver and basil is another one. Thinker and Steady, the children's out of the children's kit has been popular. And wild orange instead of lavender. Use the omegas. Oh, there's a blend here called Teddy's Blend, which is obviously balance, patchouli, serenity, lavender, and vetiver. And there's quite a lot of like 10, 15 drops of each for calming. And I agree with peace and balance. She's also used that. DDR Prime helps along the spine, bottom of the feet. And this lady, this is nearly finished. I have a 4-year-old with sensory processing issues, and lavender is also stimulating. So this is what I use: balance and peace together, or frankincense, copaiba, DDR, and something calming like sandalwood, vetiver, cedarwood, and Roman chamomile. So there's quite a few different suggestions. So yes, I'll post those on our Facebook, or send them up to you, Claire, and put them, on WeChat for you. So a lot of those suggestions are excellent, but as you can see, what works for one child doesn't always work for another child, depending on, how they respond. Another thing can be what Danielle Daniels suggested is, don't so if you're putting essential oils on one child, so one child's got more of an issue than maybe you've got a couple of children, or maybe there's just one child and 2 adults, sit around and make it like a little bit of a play before bed, if we're looking at a sleep issue, and everyone in the family use an oil, sit in a circle, pass the oils around. Sometimes making it like a big thing can be a little bit overwhelming when you begin, and so just make it like a little bit of a game. We're all going to sit in a circle. Mummy and Daddy are going to use oils, and Johnny's we're going to put some on you, which one. And sometimes it'll help if they are able to smell the oils and decide. I know, Claire, you've done that, haven't you, with your children? Allow them to pick which one they would like to use.
I think I wanted to add something into that. I don't mean to interrupt, but one of the things that I've noticed is that because my son was diagnosed first, which usually happens because he's a boy, and then my daughter was diagnosed about a year and a half later, and because I've used the oils on my son since he was 2, it hasn't been an issue for me to try and get him to trial different oils or different things. But with my daughter, because she is highly sensitive to smell, she's highly sensitive to touch, she's highly sensitive to other people's opinions. She's also a teenager. Actually getting her to even try an oil can be impossible. And the one thing that I would recommend, if somebody comes to you and asks you about using oils with your child, they need to buy in. If they're older, you need to give them agency and allow them to, as Robin said, to choose the oils. If they won't use the oils or won't choose them, which is basically what my daughter does, what I've had to resort to is I diffuse in the house continually. Because I need to respect her wishes, because she is a young lady. She needs to have ownership of what she's experiencing. But at the same time, I need to help her, but I don't want her to be a people pleaser. A lot of children with ADHD become people pleasers, and they do everything that people say, which can be dangerous. So there's a balance. You have to take each child individually, and you have to respect what they want to do. Otherwise, it's near impossible to get them to help them, which is what you're trying to do in the first place. I've had to take the diffuser out of my daughter's bedroom I ask her, can I try these oils on you to help you? And if she is in a receptive mood, she'll say yes.
Yeah.
And if she's not in a receptive mood, then I just have to respect that, because she is her own person. So
Yeah.
yeah, every child, every person is different. Start
And
them
it's
young.
true. The teenage years are rebellion years. They want to go
Yeah.
against everything. You know, mummy says, no, I don't want to. And let's just see if this works. You know, it's natural. It's a natural part of growing up. Those, you know, and so absolutely, that would be a good thing. And sometimes I think that, you know, when they're used to seeing, it's like, you know, growing up with the preacher, the child becomes an atheist. It's like, because,
I think,
so
yeah,
you've got to be a little careful on, you know, how you, of course. So yes, respecting that and giving her space, but also knowing that you can have it going, you know, as we said, inhalation is so critical, and it's going to go into the brain and help balance those chemistries anyway, if you've got the oils going in the house. So perfect. Yeah. Thanks for that, Claire. I think that's excellent suggestions. And we're just about out of time. Anyone else got anything to add? We could keep talking about this for quite some time, I know, but anything else to add?
No.
Okay, lovely.
I'll add very quickly. I will add that the multivitamins, vitamins are exceptionally important. Magnesium, zinc, also the probiotics for their tummies, and protein is exceptionally valuable for children with ADHD because it helps build up their brains. Well, that's not the right terminology. I'm not a scientist, but I try and encourage my kids to eat as much protein as possible.
Absolutely. Great suggestions. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. And next week, I thought what we could do is come on and talk about what supplement you like, which one do you like out of doTERRA's? Do you like the ADD? Do you like the deep blue or ice blue capsules, poly capsules? Each person come on and just share a little bit about which one is your favorite and why you particularly like that one. So or one or two, you know, whatever you want to do. So that'll be for next week. What do you think? All good?
Good.
Thanks, everyone. And we'll send this recording out.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.